good evening to everybody who has joined us today, or people at home that decides to watch the video afterwards. For those of you who this is their first time and they're not familiar with the Headache School, so Headache School by the Department of Neurology, University of Utah, provides a lot of very, very interesting lectures and workshops twice a month on the variable topics, all of them related to migraine. So I highly encourage people who have not attended or this is their first time. I really recommend that they join or at least watch it afterwards on YouTube. All of the video recordings are uploaded to the YouTube channel of the Headache School channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Dan Kaufmann. I'm a research assistant professor here at the Department of Neurology. And every fourth week of the month, I'm presenting under the title of Skills and Techniques. Always, we're choosing different topics that can help people benefit from different skills in order to have, better quality of life, better ability to cope with migraines, and so forth and so on. And this is after we realize that even though the lectures are really important and knowledge is very, very important, we really wanted to give people skills and techniques, like something that is relatively easy to learn, that people can use and apply and just take that to their normal daily lives. So this is actually what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about self-hypnosis. And I just want to say before I start and before I have my PowerPoint presentation, self-hypnosis is something that I could spend a whole day talking about. And there is so much to learn and especially so much to practice. And unfortunately, we only have 1 hour. However, what I decided to do today is just discuss the really, what I think is are the most important things that would help people benefit from self-hypnosis, because I think that's something that is relatively easily understandable. It just needs the practice. And also the majority of the time we'll just do an actual practice that enable everybody to benefit from self-hypnosis. I would just ask, again, that's not a requirement, but I would ask the people that join us if it's possible to turn on your videos so I can see you all, and especially because when we're going to practice, it's important that I'll see people around so that they could, I could guide you further. Of course, it's just a request, it's not a requirement, but if you agree, and I see people agree, then that would be, that'll be great. Also, it's more fun to see people. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen because I have some presentation that I want us to, some things I want us to discuss first. Can anybody see my screen? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, wonderful. Okay. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about self-hypnosis and how it can help us. Again, this is a huge topic. I'm really going to touch on the basics to give you the idea behind self-hypnosis, because a lot of those seemingly basic components are not discussed elsewhere. And a lot of people have all those different ideas about self-hypnosis. So I hope that I can clarify some things during this 1 hour today. And I want to start with what is hypnosis. And I would dare to say that out of all of the modalities, the therapeutic modalities that are out there, I think that hypnosis is the one that suffered from the most negative publicity out of them all. Meaning, we all have all those misconceptions. We see the Las Vegas shows when people go on stage and they do all these silly things or quack like ducks. We have movies that will portray this mighty hypnotist, the dangerous, that's kind of like with shazamming with his fingers. He's able to make people do whatever he wants, and like steal or do all sorts of things. So we're kind of, hopefully we're going to correct some of those misconceptions, and by starting with pretty much defining what is hypnosis. So first, I would like to say there's still a lot of debate about what hypnosis is, what hypnosis isn't, and there is a lot of unknowns about what exactly is hypnosis. But there are some definitions that can help us, that when we are going to practice, by understanding what is this thing that is called hypnosis that we're going to do today. So originally, hypnosis was defined as a special state of physiological relaxation. That was an older definition, and a lot of people still use the term trance to describe hypnosis, but that definition nowadays has been changed and has been updated. And nowadays, a lot of the research under hypnosis agrees that hypnosis itself is a state of very focused attention on a specific idea or a specific image. And because of this focused attention, we're expecting to elicit certain responses, either physiological or mental responses. And the idea is that when we engage in this state of hypnosis, we're able to associate our bodies and our mind to a state of increased ability to respond to suggestions. So the idea is that when we're focused on a specific idea, which is a suggestion, the expectation is that the body and the mind are going to respond to that suggestion, whatever it may be. So for example, if I were to really focus on the idea that my right hand is very, very light, it's very, very light, I'm going to focus on it, and I'm going to concentrate and imagine that it's like a feather, and all of a sudden my arm is going to lift up. So the idea is that by focusing our mind on a specific idea of suggestion, we can create a response. Now, as I mentioned, there's a lot of misconceptions about hypnosis, and there's a lot of people that still are very much afraid of hypnosis. They have all these different ideas about hypnosis. And one of the things that I know that I hear a lot is something like, I'm afraid I will lose control, or I'll be forced to do things that I don't want to do. And that is a misconception, because hypnosis, as we're going to talk about, every hypnosis is self-hypnosis. No one can create or ask or command someone to do something if they don't want to. This is the idea that the control relies on the mighty hypnotist, and that is a misconception. Everybody can not go into hypnosis or resist hypnosis if they want to. But of course, since hypnosis is used for health and for betterment of health and well-being, if I resist hypnosis, then I'm not getting the benefit. But other than that, there is no losing control or anything that the hypnotist can force upon the person that is being hypnotized. People think that hypnosis is a state of sleep or loss of consciousness. In the hypnotic state, people are fully aware of what is going on. There might be a case that they might not remember exactly everything afterwards, but it's definitely not a state of sleep. We don't fall asleep. We're completely aware. We're completely aware of what's going on. If we are falling asleep, for example, if it's very, very relaxing, then pretty much at that point, hypnosis is done. And the person wakes up just like when they wake up from a normal good night's sleep. But hypnosis is not a state of sleep. Another thing, especially with people who are very much intellectuals, is that only gullible or weak-minded people can be hypnotized. I always hear that, oh, you're never going to be able to hypnotize me. And the idea, again, is, first of all, that hypnosis relies on the hypnotist, and that is a misconception. Hypnosis relies on the person that agrees to be hypnotized. They're the ones in control. And also, hypnosis has been linked with higher intellect. So actually, the higher the intellect, the more the person is actually are able to be hypnotized if they choose to. The only people who are really cannot be hypnotized are those with severe mental retardations or those that are disconnected from reality because of some psychiatric disorders. But generally, everybody can enjoy hypnosis, and it doesn't mean that if I'm getting hypnotized, I'm gullible or weak-minded. On the contrary, it's a skill to be able to be hypnotized, and usually we can adopt that skill if we practice that pretty much on a regular basis. I'm afraid I'm revealing my deep secrets under hypnosis. Again, this is under the idea that this mighty hypnotist has something that can do, that you can reveal all your secrets. Again, the control with hypnosis is on the person that agrees to be hypnotized. No one can do anything to the person that is being hypnotized if they don't want to. If I go too deep into hypnotic trance, I might never come out of it. Again, if you fall asleep, it's similar to waking up from a sleep. No one has actually been stuck in hypnotic state. There was one case actually in Israel in 1984. That's the only case that at least I know of, that someone kind of got stuck and eventually woke up from it. I don't want to go too much into detail. However, there is a lot of mystery about it. No one really knows exactly what happened. This is very rare. Usually, no one can get stuck in hypnosis. It's like if someone falls asleep, then they're going to wake up when they wake up, but this is not something that you get stuck in. I'm afraid the hypnotist will force hypnosis on me. Again, it's the whole idea of who is in control. Only the person that's being hypnotized is in control. If I'm giving suggestions and person decides to think about something else, there is no way that I can help them be hypnotized. So the control, again, is only on the person that is being hypnotized. The hypnotist can make me do illegal things. Actually, that's been researched that no one can actually ask people to do things that are against their volition or against their value system. If someone is not does not want to do something that finds it illegal, and a hypnotherapist is trying to suggest something, that's where rapport is going to end between the hypnotherapist and the hypnotist and the person being hypnotized, and that's pretty much it. No one can hypnotize someone to go and steal or murder or something of that nature. Another component before we start that I want to focus on, again, there is so much to say about this, but I just want to emphasize that when we talk about hypnosis, as I mentioned, there's a lot of different ideas what hypnosis is and what hypnosis isn't. But generally, there are two camps in the hypnosis world that we call them the state theorist and the non-state theorist. Now, what does that mean? State theorists believe that hypnosis is some sort of a magical and special state. They emphasize the difference between the hypnotic state and everything else that occurs to the individual. They really focus on hypnosis being some sort of a magical, trance-altered state. And those are the people who are state theorists. The non-state theorists, which is actually the majority of the researchers of hypnotherapy and hypnosis, believe that hypnosis is actually not a special state. They emphasize that hypnosis is actually very, very similar to other things that we might be doing, like when we're focused on reading a book, like when we focus when we're driving. They actually identify specific psychological and physiological traits, and they teach the individual to use them in order to assist them to be hypnotized. So the idea between the non-state theorist and the state theorist is the non-state theorist pretty much put the control on the individual who wants to be hypnotized. They teach skills because they believe that hypnosis is actually a skill set that just needs to be taught. And once it's taught and people can practice that, almost everybody can benefit from hypnosis. State theorists believe that the mighty hypnotist, he's the one that can create that state, which in my opinion is not very much empowering for the people who want to be hypnotized. So I guess we can pretty much understand that I'm much more in favor of the non-state theorists, because I believe that empowers the people that want to experience hypnosis. This is actually the most important thing that I want to discuss in here before we do the practice, because when we practice self-hypnosis, the practice of self-hypnosis need to be goal-directed, meaning that all of you are playing an active role in that process. This is not something that I'm just going to be repeating and you're the passive observer that just kind of like expect things to happen just because I'm saying it. Each and every one of you need to play an active role in adopting specific mind states. Once you understand and adopt the mind state, you can benefit and experience hypnosis. I am only the guide, the only person responsible for the success of experiencing self-hypnosis is all of you. So what sort of mind states, or what is the idea, what is it that we need to do in order to experience self-hypnosis? So there's a lot to say about it, but I just kind of wanted to focus on specific mind states that are important when we want to experience self-hypnosis. The first is imagination. Whenever you use suggestions, either suggestions that I give or suggestions that you give to yourself, the best way is to really imagine. So for example, if I want to suggest, I don't know, my head or my head is relaxed. So it's really by closing our eyes and really imagining the head, imagining the muscles, imagining that the muscles become, maybe heavy or maybe flatter. By engaging the imagination, that is a very, very powerful tool that enables a person to go deeper into hypnosis. Focus and absorption. Whenever we give suggestions, it is very important to focus on the suggestions. If I'm going to think of something else, then there is no point in repeating the suggestions. This is why also when there's a lot of tapes out there or apps that they teach self-hypnosis and they're wonderful. However, if someone listens to the tape and they drift to somewhere else and they're not focused on the suggestion, that defeats the purpose. That's not self-hypnosis. We need to be focused on what the suggestions are and what does it mean that I need to do. Expectation. When we give suggestion, we need to expect that the body or the mind are going to respond automatically to the suggestion. So if I'm going to suggest to myself, let's say I put my arm like this, and I'm going to suggest my arm is getting heavy. My arm is getting heavy, and I'm closing my eyes, I'm imagining it, and I'm really, really focused and absorbed. I would like to expect my arms to start drifting down. So because I know the power of suggestions, I want to expect that the arm is going to respond to my suggestion. Without the expectation, there's not going to be point or power in doing self-hypnosis. Role enactment. Role enactment gives me the idea, and I think I mentioned that in one of my courses. There was, I don't remember the name of this actor, but there was an actor that played a taxi driver. And in order to play a taxi driver, he really need to get into the role. So he put himself under the taxi driver, he put himself with taxi drivers, and he got himself a taxi, and he dressed like them, and maybe with a hat, and he really enacted the role of being a taxi driver so he can play in the movie. Because he was so focused on this role, it took him a month after the end of the movie to kind of get back to being him. I forget the name of the actor. So the more we can enact the role of being hypnotized, the more we have this idea of what it would be like, what it would be like for me to really play the role of someone who's being hypnotized. Maybe I need to be like really, really kind of like slouched on my chair and my arm is kind of like this and my eyes are closed. The more we can enact the role of being hypnotized, the better we are at actually increasing our chances of experiencing self-hypnosis. Belief. It's important to believe that when we're entering that state, when we're giving ourselves the suggestions, our body is going to respond. The more we're focused and believing that this is what's going to happen, the more it's going to happen. Motivation is key to success in self-hypnosis. The more we're motivated to practice, the better we're at in actually achieving more and more states of self-hypnosis. The more we are, like any skill, the more we're motivated to practice, the better we are at actually having that practice flow and we become much better at it. So this is important when we're going to practice in a short while, to keep in mind all of those mind states. Every suggestion, remember, please imagine that. Really focus on the suggestion. Make sure your mind is not drifting and wondering. If it is, get it back to the suggestion. Expect to have your body and mind respond to suggestion. Be in the role of the hypnotist, of someone who is being hypnotized. Believe that your body has the ability to respond to your suggestion and keep motivating yourself to do better and better. It is a skill that doing that for the first time, you might be successful, you might be less successful, that's okay. It is a skill that the more you practice, the better you become at it. So the message I want you to take from all of this is that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. It is your responsibility to be in the mind state, to deliver the suggestion, and I'm just going to be guiding you through the process, but the process is controlled only by you. So now that we had this introduction, I would like to go to the actual practice of self-hypnosis. Practice is going to be divided into several parts. We're going to start with the induction, and I'm going to teach you the induction of eye fixation. Then the second part is reaffirming self-hypnosis. Once we do those two, we can go ahead and practice the progressive relaxation, where I'm going to ask you to focus on different areas in your body, and I'm going to ask all of you to give yourself suggestion for relaxation. For example, I'm going to name the area like a head, and you'll need to find the right words to help you relax. So for example, my head is deeply relaxed. You can maybe say my head is very calm, or my head is quite, whatever that is a specific word that works for you that would induce a state of relaxation. We're going to rehearse the suggestions and also imagine a color, whatever color you choose that for you means relaxation. Just imagine that color going from the head all the way down through your body. I'm going to name each and every organ, and it's your responsibility to name the organ to yourself, meaning I'm just going to start with my head. My head is very calm, relaxed, deeply relaxed, whatever phrase you want to use to suggest that the area is being relaxed. We're going to do deepening, which after the body's relaxed, we're going to calm the mind. So we're going to start counting from 10 to 0. And when we're going to get to 0, we'll be in our ideal state of relaxation. I'm going to guide you through that afterwards. And then after we're done all this part, this is the time when we can deliver suggestions. So we don't have time to teach you how to construct suggestions. So I just decided on a specific suggestion that done by Emil Coué, who was very influential of the hypnosis research and the hypnosis history. He coined this auto suggestions day by day. In every way, I'm getting better and better. And that was very, very helpful for a lot of people. So I suggest that we'll just use that a couple of times just as a general suggestion for well-being. And of course, we're going to re-alert. I'm going to count up from 0 to 5, and we'll conclude the practice. So we're going to start. I'm going to stop sharing, and I want to start with the first part, which is the induction. The induction is going to be eye fixation. We're going to do just that. What I would like all of you to do, first, I'm just going to demonstrate, and then I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to guide you on how to do that. So when you want to induce, there are many induction methods. This is just one of them. We're going to start with eye fixation. The way you do that is you want to first sit comfortably wherever you're at. You want to have both feet on the floor, arms next to you. You want to make sure that your face is directed forward. And as you're doing that, just with your eyes, don't move your head, just with your eyes, go up with your eyes all the way to the ceiling and find a spot in the ceiling. Don't do that just right now. Just let me just show you, and then I'll have you practice that. Once your head is forward, focused on the screen, just with your eyes, go ahead and find one spot in the ceiling and really be absorbed and focused on this one spot in the ceiling. As you're doing that, you're going to start noticing that your eyelids are becoming, it's if they start fluttering or they want to close. And as you're doing that and focus on one point on the ceiling, start telling yourself, use a suggestion. My eyelids are very, very heavy. My eyelids are getting very, very heavy. You also want to maybe imagine some weights and that kind of like want the eyes to close, or whatever you can to induce the state that your eyelids really, really want to close. Please also remember sometimes, I don't know if you had this experience of really wanting to go to sleep and you just couldn't stay up. You wanted to, but you just couldn't stay up. It's like the eyelids closed all by themselves. So remember that. And now I'm going to guide you. So we're going to start just with eye fixation. So sit comfortably, feet on the floor, arms next to you, just normal posture. With your head forward, just using your eyes, go and look up to a point in the ceiling. Make sure it's not too uncomfortable. It's not supposed to be uncomfortable. It's just supposed to tire your eyelids. As you do that, start noticing your eyelids are fluttering and start telling yourself, my eyelids are heavy. My eyelids are becoming very, very heavy. Very, very heavy. And whenever you feel that your eyelids just want to close by themselves, go ahead and close them. That's right. Just take your time and let them close. Don't resist and don't assist. Just allow it to happen. You don't need to exert yourself. This is not something that needs to be forceful. All your eyelids are closed right now. And as your eyelids are closed, reaffirm to yourself, my body has responded to my suggestions. I'm very good at self-hypnosis. You want to reaffirm how well you've done. So now that you've done that, when you're done, you can just open your eyes and be with me in the here and now. So this is an example of a suggestion. What we want to do is first, we want to make sure that we don't move our head. Our head needs to be forward, only our eyes, because only in that way we're fatiguing our eyelids. It's just a natural process. Whenever we look up, it's just the eyelids are just becoming fatigued. When we pair the fatiguing of the eyelids with our suggestion, we're starting to train the body to respond to our suggestions. So this is an easy thing that normally the eyelids are going to get fatigued, and because we're pairing that with our suggestion, then we're starting to program ourselves that our body and mind are going to respond to suggestions. It's also a convincer to ourselves. Also, when we look at the ceiling, we're getting into this focused mind state, which is important for hypnosis. That's why we do that. If the eye fixation is uncomfortable for you, or and I know that especially with people that are living with migraine might be not very comfortable. So what you can do alternatively is the heavy arm, meaning that just have your arm like this whenever you're instead of doing the eye fixation, you can have your arm like this, close your eyes, and start telling yourself, my arm is very, very heavy. My arm is very heavy. Imagine your arm as a steel bar. Imagine that the end of your arm, there's a huge bucket filled with water. And really notice the sensations in your arm. And you'll start feeling that your arm wants to go down all by itself. Whenever your arm goes down all by itself, when it reaches your lap, that's the end of the induction, and then you can reaffirm. So again, self-hypnosis can start with induction. We can use induction by the eye fixation, just like looking at the ceiling. If it's uncomfortable, you can use a different induction. There are plenty of those that you can just imagine your arm, and every arm after a while is going to get tired. So keep suggesting to yourself, my arm is very tired. My arm is very heavy. My arm is very heavy, and just let the arm all by itself come all the way down. And it's going to take a little practice to kind of like, is it really becoming heavy, or am I faking it? This is where hypnosis is the practice, because you want to make sure that the suggestions are automatic. It takes time to get there. So the more you practice, the more you'll be better at it. After the induction and reaffirm, what we're going to do the whole process right now. So we're going to start with the induction, we will reaffirm. Then I'm going to guide you with a progressive relaxation. So I'm just going to name the organ, the area, starting with the head, and then the forehead, and eyes, and cheeks, and so forth and so on. Whenever I use the term each and every area, I would like you in your head to connect, to make a mental connection with the area. State to yourself, my head or my forehead, whatever area, is very relaxed. Now choose a phrase that works for you. Either my head is very relaxed, or my head is very calm, or my head is deeply relaxed, whatever works for you. After we're going to go from head to toe, we're going to do the mind relaxation, meaning I'm going to start counting from 10 to 0. After each and every number, I would like to repeat after me in your mind's eye: 10 deeply relaxed, 9 deeply relaxed, and expect to go deeper into relaxation, and I'll guide you through that. Okay? What is important in this exercise, I'm only the guide. You're going to be doing most of the work. You need to repeat that in your mind. You need to listen to yourself. You need to imagine everything and really be absorbed in the process and see where that gets you. Okay? So let's start from the beginning. Take your time. Have your feet on the floor, arms next to you, just in a comfortable position. And whenever you're ready, start with induction. Go ahead and let your eyes go to somewhere in the ceiling. And the minute you do that, start telling yourself, my eyelids are very heavy. My eyelids are very, very heavy. My eyelids are very, very heavy. Notice the fluttering of your eyelids. Notice how much it's going to be so wonderful to just keep them closed. And the minute they stop fluttering, notice that they're tired. And the minute they are, you can just close your eyes. That's right. And affirm to yourself, my body is responding to my suggestions. I'm very good in self-hypnosis. My body's responding to my suggestions. I am very good in self-hypnosis. We're going to start suggestions starting from your head. And remember, repeat after me, your mind's eye. My head is deeply relaxed or very calm. Forehead, make that several times. My forehead is deeply relaxed. My forehead is deeply relaxed. Eyes, nose, cheeks, jaw, neck, shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, hands, and as you're doing that, reaffirm to yourself every nerve and muscle responds to my desire to be relaxed. Every nerve and muscle responds to my desire to be relaxed. Every nerve and muscle responds to my desire to be relaxed. Going down to your chest, and upper back, belly, lower back, hips, and thighs, and knees, and shins, and feet. And now all your body is deeply relaxed. Repeat that in your mind's eye several times. And reaffirm to yourself, my body responded to my suggestions. Every nerve and muscle responds to my suggestions. Repeat that several times. Every nerve and muscle responds to my suggestion. Believe, expect, anticipate, imagine that this is true. Now that the body's relaxed, we're going to relax the mind. You're going to count from 10 to 0. After each number, repeat twice the words deeply relaxed. When you're going to get to 0, expect to be in the most deeply relaxed state that you've ever been in. Maybe a state you've experienced, but you're going to go even deeper this time. And here we go. I'm going to start counting, and repeat after me in your mind's eye after every number, deeply relaxed. And notice how your mind can become even more relaxed with every number, starting from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Reaffirm to yourself, my mind is responding to my suggestions. My mind is responding to my suggestions. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. You are there, deeply relaxed, in your ideal state of relaxation. Take a mental note how that state feels like, and know that the more you practice self-hypnosis, the deeper it is to get to that state, or even deeper, only when it's safe to do so. And as you are in your ideal state of relaxation, repeat the suggestions after me in your mind's eye, day after day, in every way. I'm getting better and better. Repeat this after me several times, day after day, in every way. I'm getting better and better. Imagine what it would be like. Imagine what the world would be like. Keep repeating the suggestion. Believe in the suggestion. Notice that your body responds to your suggestion. It can deliver anything that you tell it to deliver. Day after day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day after day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Keep repeating that several more times. Day after day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day after day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Knowing that you can come back to that state or even deeper anytime you choose to do so. just gonna start by re-alerting you slowly, having you come back to the here and now. And I'm gonna start counting from 0 to 5. After each and every number, repeat in your mind's eye, more awake. Starting from 0, slowly, more awake. 1, more awake. Get a sense of your room. 2, more awake. 3, more awake. Might want to move a little bit in the chair. Move your body a little bit. Notice yourself in the room. 4, more awake. 5, when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Here and now. So, since we have a little more time, let's have a little more fun. And actually, why don't we do this? How about, it's called magnetic fingers. So let's practice that. So have both of your arms in front of you like this. Now, kind of have them at 90 degrees and make sure you're grasping your hands like this, and make sure you have a distance between your fingers. Now, what I would like you to do, I would like you to really focus on the distance between your fingers, and I'd like you to start telling yourself, and just imagine that there are two magnets, and just keep telling yourself, my fingers are coming closer together. My fingers are coming close together. And just believe that there are two magnets in there, and grasp your hands even tighter, and notice, and again, don't resist and don't assist. Just by suggestions and belief, see if you can have your fingers coming closer together. Okay? And those of you who had their fingers close together, just you can relax your arms. Okay? That's just one suggestion. So again, what we want to do, we just want to clasp our hands together. We want to start with a distance. And as we're doing that, we want to keep clasping our hands and keep affirming and imagining it as if there's magnets in the tip of your fingers. You can even do that with your eyes closed, and all of a sudden you're just going to feel that your fingers are touching, and really kind of tell yourself with your eyes closed, just my fingers are coming closer and closer. My fingers are coming closer and closer, and all of a sudden you see that they're touching. So just practice that right now and see if it works for you. See, people are really good at this. That's wonderful. And again, make sure you're not resisting or assisting. Just believe and imagine what it would be like, what it would feel like if they're really two big magnets. Okay. Good. All right. Let's do another thing. Now let's do magnetic arms. So have both arms in front of you like this. Now I would like you to notice the distance between your arms, and make sure you're not exerting yourself too much. Just have your arms just in front of you, legs on the floor, just in a comfortable position. Now I would like you to close your eyes as you remember the distance, and keep your arms in front of you. And I would like you to imagine, with your eyes closed, that you have two giant magnets on each hand. And those magnets are working, and you just feel the tugging. You just feel that your arms want to come together. You can't resist. You want to, you just can't. They just want to come together. Just allow yourself to really feel that magnetic force. Allow these arms to really, they just want to touch. They want to touch one another. Just feel how much the arms want to touch one another. Keep affirming to yourself. My arms are just wanting to touch one another. My arms are touching. There's these giant magnets. Just imagine what it would be like, how your arms would feel like. And notice all of those and see if you can get your arms to touch one another. And now just open your arms, open your eyes, and notice whether the distance changed. Who here saw a difference in distance? Who has the, okay, most of you, fantastic. So it's a game, it's playing. There's a bazillion more inductions that we can do, but this is just an example of how by using imagination, using your mind state, you can get yourself in self-hypnosis. Again, hypnosis is not by me or any other hypnotherapist. If there's one thing I wanted to take from this very short presentation, is that every hypnosis is self-hypnosis. No one can create hypnosis in you unless you decide. And also, to practice self-hypnosis, it's important to remember the mind state, because a lot of people just listen to audios that are self-hypnosis and they don't really know what to do, and they're just passively listening to it. It's important to understand what that means. What do I need to do when I'm listening to audio of self-hypnosis? I need to do something. I need to imagine. I need to be absorbed. I need to be focused. I need to believe. I need to expect all of those changes. The more you practice, the better you become. And there's like amazing phenomena. People have done self-hypnosis without anesthesia and went into surgeries. It's documented. It happens. So we can get and train our mind and our body with a lot of things that we want to suggest to us if we want to experience self-hypnosis.